Ferrari's hopes of rewriting their story in the 2025 Formula One season have taken yet another unexpected hit. What was meant to be a quiet breakthrough, a rear suspension test at Mugello, has instead exposed something far more unsettling. This wasn't just a routine development session behind closed gates and away from the media frenzy. Ferrari's the heavyweights Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc climbed into the SF25 with one mission: prove that the new updates could change the car's fate. But the outcome, anything but promising. The rear suspension upgrade, paired with the revised floor first introduced back in Austria, was Ferrari's great hope on paper. This combination was supposed to correct the SF25's biggest flaw: height instability, that stubborn, unpredictable trait that's haunted them since the lights went out in Melbourne. Mugello was supposed to be the first true turning point. Instead, it raised more questions than answers. The test was run under filming day conditions, limited laps, demo tires, fixed setups, and almost no room for adjustments. But even with all those limitations, the feedback from both drivers was unsettling in its uniformity. No clear progress, no breakthrough, just more of the same. The engineering team had projected a performance gain of about a tenth per lap. It wasn't revolutionary, but it was measurable when paired with the Austria spec floor. The rear suspension should have allowed the SF25 to run with a more aggressive rake and improved stability under braking and mid-corner loads. Yet, out on track, that theory dissolved. No confidence boost, no improved handling, just silence on the radios and muted body language in the garage. Even Hamilton and Leclerc, too, drivers with different personalities but razor-sharp technical instincts, seemed baffled. But the real damage wasn't just in lap times, it was in what came afterward. Behind the scenes, in Ferrari's telemetry rooms and closed-door meetings, doubt began to spread. Not panic, something worse. Quiet uncertainty. Questions started to echo across departments. Are these upgrades actually working? Is our simulation data still trustworthy? Are we fixing the real problem or just guessing in the dark? The scariest realization was this: the more they tried to move forward, the less certain they became of the path they were on. And for a team that once lived on certainty, that's more dangerous than any slow lap time. Because now, the problem isn't just the SF25's instability, it's Ferrari's own belief in their vision for the future. Ferrari enters Spa-Francorchamps walking a tightrope with no safety net below. The legendary Belgian circuit is one of the most demanding on the calendar, fast, technical, and completely unforgiving. And this time, it's a sprint weekend, meaning just a single free practice session before the cars are locked in. Park firm. No adjustments, no second chances, and for Ferrari, that's a nightmare. They now face a brutal decision. Do they risk unleashing a sensitive set of upgrades on a weekend with barely any prep time? Or do they hold back, play it safe, and quietly accept the possibility that their 2025 season may already be slipping away? The garage is tense, not chaotic but strained, like a rubber band pulled afar, and behind the silence, the human tension is rising. Lewis Hamilton, 7-time world champion, icon, and Ferrari's high-profile hope has remained calm in public. But his words are starting to carry a sharper edge. This car doesn't trust me yet. It's not just a statement. It's a warning. Hamilton knows this story too well. He's seen what happens when a team chases progress that never arrives. His final years at Mercedes were filled with promises, predictions, and broken potential. He didn't come to Ferrari to repeat that cycle. So far, he's only climbed the podium once this season, and behind the scenes, he's making it clear, unless there's a breakthrough soon, the team should shift focus toward 2026, start fresh, look forward, because this version of the SF25, it isn't listening, and Hamilton's patience, legendary as it is, isn't infinite. But he's not the only one feeling the pressure. Charles Leclerc, Ferrari's loyal son, is reaching his own limits. He spent years trying to mold himself around the team's imperfections. He swallowed disappointment, defended strategy, adapted to every twitchy setup they handed him. But now, even his loyalty is starting to crack. Behind closed doors, Leclerc is growing increasingly vocal about the car's instability and erratic tire wear. The driving experience has become unpredictable, like wrestling a machine that resists rather than responds. He's running out of time and out of patience. So as Ferrari heads into Spa, one of the hardest tracks in the world, both of its star drivers are staring down the same brutal reality. If this weekend doesn't bring answers, it might bring surrender. Since the storm at Silverstone, The tension inside Ferrari hasn't eased, it's grown sharper, and Lewis Hamilton, no longer willing to mask his concerns, is now openly questioning the car's development path. The numbers don't lie. Ferrari holds just a 12-point lead over Mercedes in the Constructors' Championship, a margin that could vanish in a single sprint race. All it takes is one setup misstep, one technical failure, and second place becomes third. And now they're heading into Spa-Francorchamps, a track that punishes hesitation and exposes weakness. The Belgian Grand Prix isn't just another race weekend. It's a moment of truth. Ferrari's rear suspension upgrade is being put to its most extreme test. If it fails to deliver, Ferrari doesn't just risk losing ground to Mercedes. It risks unraveling the very development foundation it's built for 2026. But if it works, Spa could become a defining pivot point. A successful showing won't just secure second place. It would put pressure on McLaren, the surprise powerhouse of the season. Clinical, consistent, and almost surgical in their race day execution. And in a place like Spa, everything can change in a single sector. A mistake in Eau Rouge, a twitch through Blanchimont, one missed breaking point, and the entire narrative shifts. Ferrari knows this pain intimately. They've lived it before. In 2019, they launched a bold aerodynamic overhaul mid-season, hoping for a resurgence. Instead, the upgrades exposed a painful truth. The simulations lied. On track, the performance just wasn't there. Then came 2022, a new era, new rules, a fresh start. Ferrari opened strong, but as the season wore on, they stalled. Development flatlined. Operational errors piled up. Championship dreams faded into dust. Now, in 2025, that unease has returned. What began as a season of promise has dissolved into confusion. Updates that were meant to fix the SF25's flaws have only deepened the questions. And now, Spa isn't just another Grand Prix, it's a final exam. It's also personal. Spa is sacred ground for both of Ferrari's drivers, but for very different reasons. Hamilton last won here in 2024, not through dominance, but through chaos. A messy race that broke wide open and he was the one who stayed calm. But this time, the chaos isn't on the track, it's inside the garage. And if the SF25 falters, again, the pressure on Hamilton won't just come from fans or media, it will come from within. Because if this car can't keep up, the questions about his long-term faith in the Ferrari project will only grow louder. And then, there's Charles Leclerc. Spa is where he claimed his first ever Formula One victory back in 2019, a win wrapped in heartbreak, coming just one day after losing his close friend Antoine Hubert. That weekend left a scar and a bond. But now, the sentimentality has faded, replaced by frustration. The Ferrari he believed in feels like it's running out of direction. And Leclerc, for all his loyalty, is no longer willing to suffer in silence. Inside the team, the battle lines are forming not just between performance and failure, but between holding on to 2025 or cutting their losses and pivoting early to 2026. One weekend, one circuit, Spa will decide whether Ferrari still has control of its future or if it's already slipped through their fingers. In this kind of pressure cooker, the spotlight has quietly turned toward Charles Leclerc, and once again, his future at Ferrari is under speculation. Mugello may have been a technical test on paper, but in reality, it revealed far more. It exposed mood, direction, doubt. What should have been a step forward instead became a mirror, reflecting one word across the entire Ferrari camp: skepticism. And now, with Spa looming, the team stands on the edge of a narrative cliff. Will they tumble back into the same